Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to do this Helios flower bracelet. I did it in the Helios nice sunflower colors. You can change it up though if you want to. Remember, all the materials that are listed in the supplies are below in the description, and there's links to get back to our site there in case you want to do it in a couple different colors. Gather up your materials and let's get started. All right, this one has me really happy and looking at this beautiful Helios flower, which means sunflower. And you can do whatever colors you want. You could do a mixed coloring. I'm using some of these beautiful sun colored, hence that name, Sunflower AB, 4mm crystals, along with some 6mm jet crystal rounds. I have a SuperDuo here in the white pearl shine. And what I'm going to do is use an 11 and a 15 as well, gold and a silver lined gold. You can do this again with any colors that you want. The first thing I'm going to do is add a stop bead, because I'll add my clasp after the fact, onto some size 8 dragon thread, leaving enough room at the end to put on my clasp, because I'm not going to do that right away. And what I'm going to do is pick up my first grouping of beads. The first grouping of beads, we are going to make this go from the first hole here to the second hole of our SuperDuo bead. So coming out the first hole, going to the second hole, basically reversing the thread right away. The white pearl shine is great. You don't see it with the white. Next thing to do, add a 6mm bead, and at the same time, pick up one of your SuperDuos. We're going to go back through the 6mm bead and back through the first SuperDuo from the opposite side. So see how that's linking in there? What we're doing basically is a figure 8 with thread, where the SuperDuo just kind of sits on either side. You want to pull this nice and tight. Don't worry if they're sitting on an angle. We're about to fix that. From here, grab one of your 4mm beads, then an 11, another 4, another 11, and another 4mm bead. So 3 crystals with 11 O's in between each. Going from the bottom right side here, we're going to go to the top right towards the left. And that's going to get the first side of our flower. Opposite side, same thing. One of our 4mm crystals, 2 4mm crystal, and 3 4mm crystal. Separated out those 3 by an 11O seed bead. Go into the opposite side of your SuperDuo bead from the other side. And these are going into the centermost or the middlemost holes of that SuperDuo bead. You can see how right away that kind of centered it out. And what we're going to do is a collection of 7 of our 11O seed beads on our needle and thread next, coming out of that SuperDuo. Going to go into the next SuperDuo on the opposite side. And these seed beads will sit kind of in the interior of the crystals. If you want to, you can switch it out for your 15 O's and add a little bit of gold shine there in the middle, about 9 of them. There's 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, into that SuperDuo there. Give a nice tight pull. And again, that kind of rounds it out and brings it to center. From here, we're going to step up into the outer hole of the SuperDuo bead. We're currently coming through the first one. We're going to step up right next to that stop bead to the outer hole. And you'll notice, oops, caught on my jean jacket there. You'll notice here that when you're doing this, that you want to make sure that your thread and needle get pulled nice and tight and you don't see any extra thread and needle sticking out. I'm also pushing that down with my fingers. Like I said earlier, I can't wait to see all the different colors that people do for this. From here, we're going to cap the beads to get kind of that florally, very kind of Lily Pulitzer look almost like a peony. We're going to get 4 of our beads onto our thread and needle. We're coming out that first hole of the SuperDuo. We're going to go through the 11O seed bead that sits along the side here between our 4mm rounds. Once again, 4 seed beads through that 11O seed bead that sits between the 4mm rounds. And I'm doing this monochromatically, but you could certainly do it that you're capping it in silver, you're using blue or purple flowers. It's up to you. When you get back to go over the last round, you're also going to go through that SuperDuo bead, once again, that outer hole of the SuperDuo. And we're coming back around 4 11s go on into that 11 seed bead that sits between the 3mm sunflower round, or sorry, 4mm sunflower rounds. 4 more go on, once again through that 11. Give a nice tight pull to get that kind of florally look. 1, 2, 3, 4 go on. I'm going back into that SuperDuo through the second hole. Now, I wanted to point out, this is a really cute earring as well. If you want to make it even more florally looking, you can change out the SuperDuos so they match your crystals. I'm liking to keep them separate. You could keep them green also so they look like little leaves, kind of up to you. From here, once again, I'm going to step down into the SuperDuo, or if you don't want to see a lot of thread, here's a little cheat. You can go into those 4 11-0s that sit on the outer edge, into the 11-0 that sits next to the sunflower yellow crystal, and then drop into the sunflower yellow crystal. In next to the 11-0 after that sunflower crystal, into the next sunflower crystal. And then we're going to go into, or sorry, not into the next sunflower crystal, out onto the side of the 4mm beads, through that second hole of our SuperDuo bead. And now we're going to almost feel like we're getting ready to start over. From here, I want you to add one of your 8mm beads and another one of your SuperDuos. We're going to go back through the first, or back through the hole of the 6mm crystal, into the SuperDuo from the opposite side, back through that one there. That's going to kind of center out that black and white look right there. Again, green would look really cute. From that inner loop there, you're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of your crystal there, of your 11-0s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into that first hole of that exterior one. Now, if you want to, this is up to you, you're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of your 15-0s and repeat through the same holes. That's going to double cap it, having a little bit of gold there in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once again through that second hole. Once you're through there, make sure that those 15-0s stay to the top here and that they sit on the interior. And see how that just kind of adds a nice little link section there. From here, go back through your beads. You can choose whether or not you want to go through the 11s or the 15s, up to you. I'm going to go through the 15s, pull nice and tight, making sure you don't miss any beads. And now we're going to jump from the outer hole to the inner hole of our SuperDuo bead. And we start over. So our black bead goes on. Our white SuperDuo goes on. Back through our 6mm bead. As we do so and go back through the 6mm bead here, we're going to go into the SuperDuo, that first one that our thread was coming out of, through the opposite side. And now we're going to group on our 4mm beads. 4mm 11, 4mm 11, 4mm into that same side of our next SuperDuo bead. You're just going to continue on making your little floral arrangements here, adding in your beads along the side, and then going in and capping them off from the interior, stepping up to the exterior to add your beads in the interior. Now you're going to add your 7-11 seed beads, go into the interior, 7-11, step up and do your little curvature outside. Remember, with these YouTube videos, you can always go through and rewind. You can also slow it down in your YouTube setting if I'm going a little too fast for you. Once you get to the end of the unit, and I have 7 here, you can always end to on the simple round if you don't want to end on the florals. And I really love this bracelet. I love how happy it makes me. It's like sunshine. So coming out the other side here, I've taken off my stop bead, and just to show, I'm going to flatten out my thread, and then I'm going to go in and add a needle to my thread here. And once I add the needle to the thread, I am going to place on the clasp. Now I've already done the clasp on the opposite side here, and I want to show you how I attach it because we're going to attach the other side of the clasp the exact same way. And it would help if I have a bigger needle going through this thicker thread here. I'm going to thread that. This is also to keep in, so that way you know you're not the only one that struggles threading the needle. Okay, flattening that out, threading that needle then, pulling that through. I'm coming out the last of my SuperDuo. And here at the end, what I'm doing is putting on 2 of my 11 seed beads along with my clasp. This does have a soldered ring on the end of the infinite clasp, and I'm going through 2 times, making sure, because there is a back side and a front side here, that you want to make sure that your clasp faces the correct direction. So I'm going to go in here and add 1, 2 11 seed beads, go into my clasp here and grab that guy out and go through that loop there. When I go through the loop, I want to make sure again that I'm going through the correct location, that it's sitting facing up. Add on your clasp here. And usually I'm going to glue my cabochon on first, just in case you get, God forbid, you would mess up basically. And what that's going to do is give you a chance to kind of make sure that the clasp is great before you go in and get your thread ends off. So good idea to put on your cabochon first. I usually try out different colors. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the white or the black. I like the look of the black. Once I have that there, how to add to your clasp, you just take a dab of either the E6000 or the Loctite. Either one will do. Just a little dab in the middle there. A little dab will do you. And put in your cabochon and spin it around. To get rid of your extra thread end, you're just going to sew into the design here, going in towards the interior of the crystal. And what I'm going to do is get my thread and needle to the back of the design. So I'm going to pull it kind of towards the back there, flipping it over. I can see the way that my thread line is running. I'm going to go, because it's white thread, right next to my white bead. I'm going to sew underneath the bridge thread right there and up through. Make a loop and sew through that loop once. Sew through that loop twice. That makes a nice sewer's knot there. It has 2 loops going through there. Nice tight pull. You can sew through then more spots if you want to kind of tuck that knot inside. Pull the thread out, burn it down flat towards the project, and your Helios Sun Floral Bracelet is completed. It is really, really, really eye-catching, and I love how, again, this could be done in pinks and really look like different types of flowers and purples, and it also has a really great movement if you would like to do it as a necklace as well. Thanks so much for joining me in creating that Helios floral design. It is a really pretty bracelet that you can do in a lot of different colors. And because it is neutrals in the yellow and black, I'm going to wear this one a lot. Remember, if you do need any supplies, go ahead and look below the video. We'll have a description there with all the links to the different products in case you want to change out any colors. And if you do, make sure to post your pictures in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. Can't wait to see all of the different colors that you do in the designs. Again, it'll look great in pinks and purples and blues, really any color to make it work. Remember also, if you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much, Potomac Beaders, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.